A perfect town with a murderous secret. Going home in the dark. Summary. They called us the Four Amigos, a title that felt less like a playful childhood moniker and more like a shield we forged against the rest of the world. In the idyllic, sun-drenched streets of Maple Grove, where every lawn was manicured to a razor's edge, and every neighbour offered a smile that didn't quite reach their eyes, we were the anomalies. Rebecca, Bobby, Spencer, and me. We were the outcasts, the jagged edges in a town of smooth surfaces. Back then, we were inseparable, bound by the kind of fierce, desperate loyalty that only lonely children can understand. We promised each other everything, but mostly, we promised that we would survive the suffocating perfection of our hometown. 3 of us kept that promise by leaving. We shook the dust of Maple Grove off our shoes and ran toward the horizon, chasing lofty dreams that seemed impossible from the vantage point of our sleepy cul-de-sacs. And miraculously, we caught them. Rebecca, Bobby, and Spencer. We became the success stories, the ones who made it out. We built lives filled with accolades and distance, burying our pasts under layers of achievement. But Ernie, poor, sweet Ernie, never left. While we ascended, he remained anchored, a ghost haunting the scenes of our childhood, stuck in the amber of a town that refused to change. I hadn't thought of Maple Grove in years, not truly, until the news broke the silence of my carefully constructed life. Ernie had fallen into a coma. It wasn't just the tragedy of it that seized me. It was the strange electric jolt of recognition that accompanied the news. A whisper in the back of my mind, a dormant neuron firing after decades of inactivity. "Don't you remember?" it asked. People used to lapse into comas back then, didn't they? It was a thought that felt less like a memory and more like a warning. And the terrifying corollary that followed. Those people always awoke, didn't they? The urge to return was sudden and violent, a gravitational pull that none of us could resist. We converged on Maple Grove like moths to a dying flame, driven by a loyalty we thought we had outgrown. But rolling back into town felt less like a homecoming and more like stepping into a mausoleum. After 2 decades, nothing had changed. The paint was too fresh, the trees too green, the silence too heavy. It was a stillness that felt orchestrated, a stage set, waiting for the actors to take their marks. And then there was Ernie's mother. If the town was the trap, she was the gatekeeper. She had always been obnoxious, a sharp-tongued woman who looked at us with disdain. But now she was something else entirely. Something scary. She sat by Ernie's bedside, a sentinel in the gloom, her presence a thick, suffocating weight that made the air in the room feel stale and old. Ernie sank deeper into the darkness of his own mind, and we stood helpless on the shore, watching him drift away. But as we lingered in the shadow of his illness, the cracks in our own minds began to show. Being back in Maple Grove was unlocking doors we had double-locked and thrown away the keys to. We started to remember things that didn't fit the golden hue of our childhood nostalgia. Flashes of a hulking, murderous figure stalking the periphery of our vision. A weirdness that piled mystery upon mystery, layers of trauma that we had been, somehow impossibly, made to forget. It became clear that our amnesia wasn't natural. It was a defense mechanism or perhaps a compulsion placed upon us. The fear we felt wasn't just for Ernie. It was for ourselves as well. Something strange awaits any friend who tries to save him. A presence that lives in the gaps between our memories. We realized with mounting dread that time was running out. We had to remember the terrors of the past to drag the truth out into the light. before the perfect town of Maple Grove swallowed us whole again. The Four Amigos were back in its grasp, and this time I wasn't sure if any of us would be allowed to leave. The darkness is rising, and nothing here is what it seems. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more book summaries and insights. Feel free to check out another video or dive into the full playlist you see now for more great book summaries. Click now and keep exploring.